West Springfield Public Library. Love. We love our families, our pets, our hobbies, our favorite foods. When we think of love, we naturally think of the heart, right? But the truth is our heart doesn't really teach us to love. It's way too busy. Our heart is a workaholic. Throughout our lifetime, it tirelessly pumps oxygen and nutrient blood to all the parts of our body. If a person's heart beat an average of 80 times per minute, that would mean that your heart beats around 4,800 times per hour. That's a whopping 115,200 times per day. Over the course of a year, your heart would beat about 42,048,000 times, and if you lived to be 80 years old, your heart would have beaten approximately 3,363,840,000 times. That's a lot of heartbeats, and it's a mighty task for that important muscle. Okay, make a fist. Our fist is approximately the size of our heart. In humans, our heart is located in your chest, where it is well protected between our lungs and surrounded by our rib cage. It's enclosed in a double-layer sac called a pericardium. The pericardium acts like a support anchor to the surrounding muscles, and it also prevents the heart from overfilling. The heart is part of a larger system called the circulatory system, which carries oxygen and nutrients through the body. It also removes waste like carbon dioxide. The circulatory system includes the heart and blood vessels, but the system begins and ends with the heart. The heart is a muscle which pumps blood through the body. It's made up of 4 chambers. The right atrium and ventricle carries the deoxygenated blood into the heart, and the left atrium and ventricle, which carries the oxygenated blood to the body. Also, there are 4 valves in the human heart, which make sure that the blood only goes in one direction, either in or out. 2 types of blood vessels carry the oxygen. Arteries carry the oxygen-rich blood away from the heart, and veins carry the blood to the heart. So how does the circulatory system work? Oxygen enters the lungs when we intake our breath, which begins getting oxygen into the blood. Arteries move the blood into the left side of the heart. The heart pumps the blood into the arteries. The larger arteries branch into smaller arteries, which branch into smaller capillaries, and they carry the blood to the body cells. The body cells use the oxygen and create the waste, and the waste begins its journey to leave the body. The blood capillary picks up the waste. The blood moves into the veins, and the veins take the blood to the right side of the heart. The blood then moves into the lungs, where the carbon dioxide is breathed out or exhaled, and it brings in more oxygen, and that completes the cycle. You may have felt your own heart beating. This is called a cardiac cycle. Let's take a moment and either feel your wrist or feel your neck. You can feel your heart pumping. Can you feel it? When your heart contracts or squeezes, it makes the chamber smaller and pushes the blood into the blood vessels. And after your heart relaxes again, the chambers get bigger and are filled with blood coming back into the heart. So you may remember I mentioned in a couple of Science Rocks programs ago that the electrical impulses in your bodies make our muscles move. Well, electricity going through your hearts makes the heart muscle contract or tighten. You may have watched television shows or movies where a patient in the hospital is attached to something called an EKG, or electrocardiogram. This is a machine with a line that moves on the screen and occasionally spikes up. The machine can measure the electricity going through a patient's heart. A doctor can use the information to know when a patient's heart rhythm is having problems and when it's healthy. Did you know a hummingbird's heartbeat can soar up to 1,000 beats per minute? A blue whale's heart is as big as a compact car. Octopus have 3 hearts. A zebrafish can regenerate the heart. It can grow a new heart. A seal's heart rate can go as low as 10 beats per minute during an extensive underwater dive. Now, mammals have 4 chambers in their hearts, but reptiles' hearts have only 3 chambers, and fish only have 2-chambered hearts. And a giraffe have the highest blood pressure of any mammal.
We're creating today is what would happen with half of a heart. We have 3 chambers. The first 2 chambers that have the liquid in it are the 2 chambers of the heart. The balloon in the center is replicating the muscle contracting and pushing the blood through the system. We have as you can see on the end, we have a piece of balloon that acts as our valve. There's another valve inside the middle. So what will happen is the liquid from the first cup will go into the second cup. The valve will stop it from working and then go from the second cup into the third cup, replicating half of the heart. In your package, you should receive the following items. There should be 3 plastic cups, one with a red piece of tape or white piece of tape on it, 2 straws, those are bendable straws, a toothpick, a small container that just has water with red food dye in it, and 2 balloons of various colors. We'll begin by taking a pair of scissors and cutting each of the balloons just as they're past the neck, where the wide part is. We're going to do that to both balloons. Taking one of the straws, you're going to cut it approximately 4 inches. That doesn't have to be an exact amount. We're going to then take that extra bit of straw, cut it slightly, because we want to end up making each side of the straw at the bend approximately 4 inches. I've slit a little piece in the side of the straw. I'm taking a teeny bit of the tape and covering it over, as you can see here. So that should be approximately 4 inches on each side of the straw. You will need to repeat that process with the other straw as well. Cut the other end of the neck as well and tape one end with the tape provided. Also, add a small nick in the neck side of the balloon. Here you see that we have finished with our straws. We're going to open up. It always works better when you stick your fingers in there, and it gives a little bit of stretch so you can see that hole that we just cut. We're going to slide the straw in. We don't want it too wide or else it'll slip off too easy, and that will create the valve. We definitely want to do this with the second balloon as well so that we have 2 that look just like that. Now on to the round part of the balloon. We're going to take it and stretch it out. Stretch it with both fingers. Take one of the cups and stretch it over the top. You might need an adult to help you with this. And if one of the cups breaks or cracks, it's okay. Just find some other type of container to use. Take the toothpick and stick the toothpick through the balloon, wiggle it around a bit. This is where we're going to put our straws. We don't want it very big because we don't want air flowing around the straw. Once you have placed the 2 holes in the balloon, approximately 1 inch to 1.5 inches apart, remove the balloon from the cup. You're going to want to stretch it out and place the straw with one of the valves. We're doing it this way because one of the valves is going to be inside the cup. So we're going to need to make sure that that valve is inside the cup. Pull the straw through the opening and over the bend and place to the side. Take two of the cups and put a little bit of the red water, the colored water, into each of the cups. Add additional water, just regular tap water is fine, until each of the cups is halfway full. The red food coloring can stain, so be careful not to spill it on your clothing. Next, we are going to place the balloon back over the top of the cup. This was the most difficult part for me. We needed to make sure that end was inside the cup. As you can see, I had many attempts, so don't be frustrated by it. What ended up working for me is I took a piece of paper towel and dried the edges. I also dried the inside of the balloon so that it could go over the cup without slipping. Once that happens, add the extra straw on the other side of the opening. Put your third cup at the end of the open straw, and now it's time to give it a try. There we are, half of a heart pumping.
There is no denying that the heart is an amazing muscle. I hope you've enjoyed us today as we've talked about the heart and made our heart pump. Next month, on March 25th, we are talking about magnetism and making a magnet game. Until then, be safe, be curious. Bye for now.